Hi, I'm Ken Kessler, and welcome to the Sounds of Christmas podcast. If you're new to this podcast, I want to start by saying thanks for joining us. If you're not new, welcome back. Either way, I'm very glad you're here. Now, to avoid any confusion, I want to start off by saying there won't be any music played here. This is a place for conversation. I'll talk about Christmas music and some related topics, sometimes by myself and sometimes with guests. If you're looking for music, just go to soundsofchristmas.com and click on the tree or the player on the front page or on the Listen Now page. We play the best variety of Christmas music all year long. Well, except in October, when we play the best variety of Halloween music. Today, I'm very happy to welcome back Michael Sinatra to the podcast. Thanks for joining us today, Michael.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it.
Just recently, depending on when you're listening to this podcast, your deluxe version of Standards 2 has come out, doubled the number of songs on it. First, what would you want people to know about it?
Well, I'm just happy it finally came out. It took you don't realize when you're an artist, you're just like so excited to get your music out, but you don't realize how much behind the scenes and how much work it takes to get it to where it needs to be for it to be released. So I was hoping this was going to be released at the beginning of the year. It just got released, and I'm just so excited and happy it's finally out. So I just want to tell everybody about it.
The first version, when it came out last year, and I don't know quite what the distinction is between an EP and an actual single. I'm not sure the number of tracks, but
I think 6 is like the minimum for the EP.
Okay. And Standards 2 originally had 6 tracks. That's Life, Summer Wind, Best Is Yet to Come, Witchcraft, Nice and Easy, Just in Time. And then you've doubled that for the deluxe version, starting off with Girl from Ipanema, which is a song that you've done before, but this is a different version of it.
Yeah, different take. We went with the before it was more of a live version. This one's more like an authentic studio version. It's done with vibraphone. I don't know if you're familiar with the vibraphone, and some authentic Brazilian percussion instruments. So there's like a drum in there that's an authentic drum, and some other percussion as well, and a saxophonist, which is the one. He's from Spain, and his name's Art, and I've used him on he's consistent. He's like on all the albums. So every time you hear like a solo, even the Christmas stuff, a saxophone, that's him. I like the guy so much, I just keep using him.
Was he the same? I know a couple years ago, maybe more than a couple, you did a version of this song and it had a sax in it. Was it the same guy?
It's the same guy for 7 years. I've used them on and off for 7 years, and I haven't used anybody else as far as when you hear a solo saxophone. It's just him. And I've never met him in person. I've never talked to him in person, just via messaging, because he's in Spain.
I believe that this is the third version of the song that you've recorded.
No, it's actually the second. I released alternate versions of the first time, some without the saxophone, some with different saxophone parts, because I was just so excited about that, recording that song. I really love that song. There's a lot of history behind that song, but I wouldn't do it justice by remembering everything. But this version, I really enjoy. It's probably that's why I put it as the first track, because I'm really proud of it. I thought it came out very well, and I was like, you know what, this is going up first, because my other version was pretty popular. It was streamed a lot, and so I thought I wanted to give it another go. So I went ahead and did it.
I've Got the World on a String is the next new one on there. Anything specific that made you choose that one?
No, it's another song. All these songs that I cover all the time. And some of the versions on the album are more of the traditional standard version you've heard before. And then some of them are orchestrated a little differently as a quartet, but this one is like that. Just, it's a quartet, but there's multiple sax parts. So he recorded different layers of saxophone parts that we just layered on top of each other, so that accompany well. And once again, I love this one as well. I don't know. I can't have a favorite more than the other, but this version of I Got the World on the String, I thought it came out pretty good. Oh, another great thing is a few of these songs I only did a couple passes on, and then I just let them alone. And then when I went to come back, they're like, those sound pretty good. I don't think we need to do any punch-ins or anything. We're gonna go with those. I'm like, so it's more raw, it's more of one take type of thing, and it, the initial energy, I thought it was great.
One of the things I really like about standards too is that it's a great mix of songs, because there are some songs that when you think of standards, they come up in the conversation. I've got The World on a String as probably one of those. But then you also have tracks that you don't hear as often, like All of Me, which is a great song, but you just don't hear it that much. Maybe you just don't hear it that much anymore.
No, I guess you wouldn't, but as me being a singer, that's one of the first, handful of songs I learned how to sing was All of Me. It was fun, it's a standard that everybody covered, and it's one that I used to do a lot back in the day when I first started, and that's that one I loved it. That was another one of I just did one or two passes, and it was done, because it's one I've known for so long, and it was just fun to do, and that was it.
And You Make Me Feel So Young is another one of those great timeless kind of songs that you can hear it today and it still has the same sort of feel. Because, sometimes when you talk about standards and you hear some of them, they just don't quite hold up the same. But you get a song like You Make Me Feel So Young, and it has the same sort of impact today as it did, 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah, this is another great tune. So in the piano player, what I use on all these quartets are, Stephen Solomon. He's from Chicago, and he's really incredible. And this one starts out with the piano. It's like a bouncy bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum, and then it goes into it. Now it starts out kind of the traditional way the original one did, but then it's still, using the quartet instrumentation, layers of saxophone. There's a solo in there. I think piano solo, and that's another fun one that we did. I thought it'd be great to release.
The other two new tracks on Standards 2 are songs that there are iconic versions, and I would imagine it might have been a little daunting to try and do Moon River, which everybody thinks of Andy Williams, and not copy what he's doing, but still being true to the song.
Yeah, so Moon River. So that's not a song that I normally cover. I chose Moon River because that was my parents' wedding song, and I thought it'd be appropriate to put on the album to honor them. And so working in the studio, now this is not one of the songs I could just do 1-2 passes. We really had to rethink how I did this a few times, and then I had to take a break for a while. And when I came back to the studio, we did it again, and we did it a little different way. And then Orlando, the producer, he had some ideas and thoughts how I should approach it, not trying to mimic or do it how anybody else did it. So we went with that take, and I thought it came out. I thought it came out pretty good. Now I was a little uncomfortable because it's in my insecurity zone where that kind of song is just I'm more comfortable with the upbeat, jazzy type songs. So this was more out of my comfort zone, but I thought it came out pretty good, and so I'm happy about it.
Do you ever, with a song like that, or the song with the other new one, You're Nobody Till Somebody Loves You, which a lot of people, when they hear that song, they think instantly Dean Martin. Is that at all in your head when you're recording this, that a lot of people have that song associated with another singer, and you've got big shoes to fill, and you either have to do it the same as he did, or you have to really make it your own and do something else? Are any of those things in your head when you're doing this?
Yes, my problem is when I'm covering it, not to actually do it how they did it, because I'm so used to hearing it in a certain way. But after singing these songs for so many years, you kind of just develop your own style. But there might be some licks or some phrases that you might be similar to how the original one came to be. I think there was a part in there that I kind of hung on to a lyric that's similar to Dean Martin, but accidentally, just because, not even thinking of it, it just turned out that way.
Yeah, I would think it'd be hard not to do that, just because it's so almost ingrained in the song. A song like that is so connected to that singer, and that you've heard that version of it, yeah, thousands, millions of times, maybe. I would think it would be difficult to have the mindset that you're not going to do it a certain way and still be able to sing the song. I think that would be tough.
Yeah, but so that's Life. Can we talk about that one for a second?
Sure.
So that's another iconic tune, which didn't really mess with too much. So, that's more the original structure. Now we didn't do, instead of the background singers, like in the original one, we just did the horn section mimicking those parts. But what was added, and you don't hear in the original, is the electric guitar. Now, I don't have any songs with electric guitar in it, and that big band, he thought it'd be really good to put his guitarist is really great. He said, I have some ideas. Let me know what you think. When he sent me the sample, I'm like, oh, wow, this is great. This guitar, this fits perfect. Makes it kind of bluesy. And I really love the feel of the, the electric guitar. So I wanted that to stand out more on the track. I don't know if you remember that.
To be honest, I'm not exactly sure. I know that it sounded different, being the same song, but it sounded different than Frank's version.
Yeah, if you hear the intro, there's a lot of guitar in the intro, and then a few times there's some licks in there. I don't know, you can hear it, and I made sure that they stood out more. So it's not exactly the original, but it'll sound similar, but there's some different, bells and whistles in there throughout.
And for those who listen to the Sounds of Christmas station in October, when we switch over to Halloween music, you've probably heard, you certainly did last year, Michael's version of Witchcraft, which was on the original Standards 2 EP, and it's of course on the Deluxe version. Anything in particular that led you to record that one?
This is another song that I've covered so much, but as the big band, like doing Frank's version. So when I wanted to, like with Girl from Ipanema, I wanted to go ahead and just change the whole orchestration. So let's bring in the vibraphones, make it sound a little. Now this is another bluesy type of feel. But it's got a haunting vibe to it, with the percussion and the vibraphone, and then the way it was performed. I thought it was like, wow, this came out pretty good. You're never sure how these things are going to come out, and not using any piano on it and just using vibes as the main instrument. I was really happy with it.
The Deluxe version of Standards 2 has 12 tracks. The first Standards album has 15. And maybe that sounds like a lot, but as I've been working on launching the Standards station that you're helping me get up and running, I realize how many standards there are out there. Not even the ones that could be debatable whether they're a standard or not. Just so many terrific songs from the Great American Songbook. Is there a Standards 3 on your schedule somewhere?
Not anytime soon, but I actually already know a lot of the tracks I want to do, a lot of the songs. But as far as the timeline not coming out, not anytime soon.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well,
but I do. Yeah. I'm going to stop with 3 though. So once I deal with Standards 3, boom, that's it. There'll be no Standards 4.
It won't be 4, 5, 6, 7.
No, there'll just be something else. But there will be a Standards 3. I don't know if that will be like the next sequence that comes out. There might be another project coming out before that, but eventually I'll circle back and we'll do a Standards 3.
Well, it's just, it has been eye-opening to me how many great songs there have been that you could consider standards. And, and you've recorded 27 of them on these 2 Standards albums, and there are plenty more. You could conceivably do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But I get that, when you get to 3, that's enough, or at least enough for now.
We'll do a 3, and then we'll do the best of standards. That way I won't have to record anything else. I'll just take the best of those 3.
And then you could have the best of Christmas, because that's the next thing that.
Yeah, that's the next step.
You had your album Christmas, your second Christmas album that came out last year, 7 tracks, but that's not the whole story. You've got more coming this fall.
Yeah, I got at least 5 more songs, which is going to complete it, and that'll be 12 songs on the album. And there was a couple songs that I released, last year on that album that weren't technically fully finished that we did finish. So I wasn't really happy with. I mean, I was excited to get them out, but they weren't really fully complete. So, but now they're all going to come out. I'm excited about that. And there's some different kind of styles of music coming out as well on that album.
Anything that you can tell us without spoiling it? It's
just, so Here Comes Santa Claus, which I know is like that was the Gene Autry. That Gene Autry wrote that, right?
I think so, yeah.
But this is the version I'm doing is with. I think it's the Elvis version, but this one's going to be done with the horn section, so the rhythm and a horn section, and some background singers as well. I'm trying to be consistent, use the same girl, because she sings all the parts, and then we put them all together, so she sound like a whole choir, nice. Like a whole bunch of different. It's wild what technology can do. But yeah, so Here Comes Santa Claus, which is also one of my mom's favorite tunes, and one that I remember growing up hearing all the time. And it was also, which was weird, it was in the movie, the latest Elvis movie.
Yeah.
And they were picking on that song a lot. I'm like, oh, that's so weird that I'm doing that song, and it's being mentioned a lot in this movie. Which I love the Elvis movie, by the way. It was really good.
Yeah, I thought so too.
And then doing Santa Claus. So this is just another bluesy number, which will, help balance the album out. Santa Claus is back in town with the same. It'll be the same band that Here Comes Santa Claus is doing with the horn section. So those are the 2 fun ones that I'm excited about. Gonna do Nat's "Hark the Herald Angels Sing." So so I love that tune. I always like that song. So I'm going to be recording that one, and that will probably be more like how my first album was, where it's just piano vocals, but we'll put some other stuff on, other layers on there as well, but keep it pretty simple. And then a simple version as well as "Oh Holy Night."
It's beautiful.
So put some carols on the album. That would help balance the album out. I don't want to do the same song through the whole same feel for the whole album. I'm going to switch it up so there's a nice balance to the whole album. And then, Ken, I forgot to tell you, I'm doing an original song.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah. So, I wrote a song. It's we didn't finish recording yet, but. I didn't realize how hard it is to write a song. Now, some people, I'm sure it comes easy, but, I'm like 48 years old. I'm here trying to write an original song. And it was, it came up to me in the car. I think a lot about the song while driving. So when I'm just driving around here and there, I'll just be humming something, and then I'll put it into my little voice app, on your phone, and then come back later and try to build off of that. So that's what I did. So I don't have a title yet. It's still work in progress. It's a 2-word title. I can give you the first part of the title, which is Christmas. But I'm not sure if it's going to be Christmas this or Christmas that. I'm just not sure how I'm going to do it yet. And then some of the lyrics, I'm still tweaking. But as far as the whole, the template of the song is already done. I had to get some help with figuring out the structure. And so I went to Stephen Solomon, my pianist, and he helped me make a complete song and figured out the best way to do it. And so he helped me do that. And so I'm excited about it. So once that's finished, I'd love to come back on and tell you more about it.
Oh yeah, I want to hear about it. And so Standards 2 Deluxe version just out. Deluxe version of Christmas on the way this fall. It seems like a lot, and I feel kind of silly for even asking, but what's next? A nap.
I hope a lot of good things. um, yeah, there's a lot of things that I'm excited. Hopefully that come to fruition. Nothing I can talk about. I don't want to jinx anything, but I'm just excited to get this music out there. It's been a long journey, so I'm just happy that things are finally coming out, and you guys will be able to share these with everyone. And I just hope you enjoyed as much as I did making them. So,
well, I love the new standards too, and really enjoyed adding the new Christmas songs last year. I'm looking forward to the new ones this year. I'm very curious. Can't wait to hear your original Christmas track. So very excited about all that. There's lots of great music from you this year.
Yes, and I'm surprised I was able to do it. Like I mentioned to you before, doing the two different albums at the same time is really difficult. Switching gears, doing standards and then doing Christmas, but trying to juggle these around. But I'm able to do it, and just takes time though. Just takes time.
Yeah, and I think if I remember right, I think last year we were talking about a similar kind of thing because you had just finished the first Standards 2, the EP, and we're working on the Christmas album. And it's been almost the same thing again this year, except both deluxe versions are out now with a lot more songs. I would imagine that for 2023, it's going to be a relief not to have both of these things going on at the same time.
Yeah, I think I'm going to, I was just really gung-ho, during last few years, just gung-ho, just trying to get a lot of music out. Because that's all we had time to do was a bunch of music. So let's just record and let's just get this out there. And then I think I'm going to pull back and just focus on like one project at a time and do those the best I can before I start juggling multiple things.
Yeah, and maybe take a breather, just a little one, just a little one.
Take a deep breath.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to perhaps talking to you again later this summer as I get the standard station off the ground, and we can maybe we can do one of these just about standards.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. Yes, yeah. I got some wonderful ideas about that. If you want to do that,
yeah, we'll do that, and we'll be able to talk more about the Christmas release too as you're putting the finishing touches on that. So, lots of good stuff. Anything else that you want to add before we wrap this up today?
No, I don't want to. I really appreciate you having me on your platform, and it's always a pleasure speaking with you.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much. Oh gosh, I should ask. I can't believe I didn't ask, Michael. What's the best way for people to find you?
Go to my website, which is my name, michaelsinatra.com, and you'll find everything you need on where to find my music and all my social media as well.
Terrific. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for listening and for continuing to support the Sounds of Christmas station and podcast. Station is still on, by the way, so anytime you need a little musical Christmas spirit, just head on over to soundsofchristmas.com and click on the tree or the player on the front page or on the Listen Now page. You can also find our app in the Google Play Store. And as far as this podcast goes, we're now on over 30 podcasting sites. So if you didn't find us on your favorite today, just search for Sounds of Christmas there, or really on almost any podcasting site, and I'm pretty sure you'll find our tree. Then you can subscribe so you never miss another episode. If you have comments or suggestions on this episode, previous episodes, the Sounds of Christmas station, or the upcoming Standard station, feel free to reach out to me on social media or through the website. Thanks again, and may you always believe in Santa Claus.